Oh, we're not quite live yet. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call to order the July 13th meeting of the Water Committee. We have everybody here today. So nobody except for staff is online today. So I'd like to start by recognizing that we're on the unceded traditional territory of Comox First Nation. And with that, I will move on to the first item of the agenda, which is the management report. Some would like to move receipt. And second? Second. Seconded by Swift. Any discussion or questions on the management report? Seeing none, anyone opposed to receipt? Okay, that's carried, thank you. And the next item, we actually have a fairly light agenda today, but I would say a riveting one. I'm anticipating, and not to put pressure on staff, but we do have two updates. And the first one is the water plant treatment update. And I believe we have Charlie on the line to do that presentation.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Sorry, we'll just move first.
Okay.
Great, moved and seconded, and continue. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. You're setting me up for disaster on the exciting. It's definitely have a presentation for you, but it's brief, and brief is good because things have been going well. So I'm just going to ask Lisa to allow me to share my screen.
Go ahead, Charlie. Sure. There you go.
Fantastic. And so, as you know, we had our big milestone at the end of last month, where we started flowing water from our new intake all the way through our new treatment plant and new transmission mains and to the taps of the people of the Comox Valley. So this was the first real test of our systems, and we had some teething issues, as you can imagine, as we were ramping up on this. But by the end of last week, we ran for 5 days consistently in automatic mode with no inputs to our PLC and no alarms, with the system running really, really well. So it was a major success for the project to see our new pump station drawing water from the lake and taking that through our transmission mains and through our filter boxes all the way through into our system. Our operators did a fantastic job of setting up our transmission and reservoir systems throughout the valley to see that new intake, which changes the pressure and the parameters of our transmission system, and allow that system to keep running flawlessly with no interruptions. At the same time as a massive increase in demand from the heat wave that we had. So big success on that front, but we have a long way to go. So through July, we are going to be going through the next stages of commissioning, which includes starting to add polymer to the front end of our process to start the coagulation and really commission the filters so that they're ready when we have our winter storms to take the turbidity out of the water. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll be stepping through those new chemical systems and commissioning those with the intention of sending fully filtered water to our residents by the end of the month. As per the previous update, we are on track for commissioning completion in August and the opening of the trailhead out there. And then in September, our operators will move into the plant, and we'll be working towards getting the celebration of the opening of the facility. Just some snapshots. There's not a huge amount of infrastructure being built up there right now, so it's a lot of operators looking at screens, turning valves and things. You can see in the background of this slide the levels of our new clear well as we have our morning and evening peaks, and showing how this new clear well will buffer our system and allow our treatment plant to run at a very steady rate while our treatment plant allows for the ebbs and flows of our system as our residents water their plants early in the morning, and then in the evenings come home and prepare dinner and get everyone clean and ready for bed. So again, that was a very nervous week for us as we watched this new operation system in practice, but our contractor team, as well as our fantastic operators at CVID, worked through all those bugs and were able to keep the system flowing flawlessly. This is a little snapshot of our PI system, which gives a little graphic representation of our system. You can see in the top left here a new part of our facility, which is showing the water treatment plant and the clear well, which is the large reservoir we have at the tail end of our treatment plant, feeding our new system, our existing system. And you can see these two stations, the Dingwall station and Ryan Road station, which are pump stations that we have in our existing system, which are required when we have high usage to pump the water up to the East Courtney Reservoir. We were able to show over the last week that with the treatment plant online, we don't need any of these pumps anymore. So this is another one of the advantages of our new system, that we're able to start decommissioning some of the pumps that we have required in the past to feed our residents. And now we can start decommissioning those because we've located that reservoir at the water treatment plant at the right elevation, so we can feed the entire system through gravity and start to use a lot less electricity through the transmission system. And with that, reduces our maintenance costs and has other ancillary advantages for our team, provides them more time to do maintenance on other parts of the system. So just want to really put a shout out to our operators who worked all the way through the July long weekend. We were in there late on Canada Day, and they really worked above and beyond to keep the system online while many were out enjoying the public holiday heat. And we're really optimistic for the commissioning that's going on, and that we will be just continuing to bring good news forward as we move towards project completion.
Okay. Well, that was definitely brief, but a great report. Do we have any discussion or questions? Okay, I was just curious, Charlie, I know that you had said that the water temperature, we were going to be having much colder water. Would there be any other differences that folks will notice, do you think, with the changes?
Yeah, so we've had some interesting conversations in our management team at CVID. Some have already started noticing the water temperature coming down, and some have claimed that it's not as noticeable as they hoped. But with the reduction in temperature, when we start our filtration process, especially as we move into the winter months, as we take out more of the organic, we will likely be able to start reducing the chlorine that we add to the water. And so what we hope is that over time, as our operators get used to the system and get to really fine tune the systems, the water at the tap will be colder and will have less of a chlorine smell and taste, which will increase the aesthetics of that water and be more delicious for the drinking.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't noticed a significant change in the temperature yet, but looking forward to that. Okay, any other questions? Oh, I forgot to mention actually that Mayor Wells is alternate for Director Hillian today. So go ahead, Director Wells, Mayor Wells. Oh, I have to. There you go.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, I just obviously very excited, very serendipitous that I'm here to hear the update today. Really, the only question that I have is I saw on the timeline that in September there's going to be a tour for the water committee members. And I know of at least one person who's not on the committee anymore, but would be interested in possibly attending, that being myself. So I don't know if that would be possible or not, but I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe the current chair could put a good word in for me.
Okay, I will do that.
But thank you so much. It's great to see where this has come. It's taken a few years, but thanks again.
Great, thank you. Okay, seeing no other questions, anyone opposed to receipt? Seeing none, that's carried. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to the water main repair closeout report. And I guess we have Mike on the line, do we, for that?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Madam Chair. Mike Hirschmiller is here to present this report and answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Russell. Through the chair, I think I would like to share my screen as well, Lisa, if that's possible.
Yep, sure.
Oh,
Thank
there
you,
it
Mike.
is. There we go. I'm not sure how to get this into presentation mode, so we'll just go from here if that's all right. So thank you. So we're doing the Comox Valley water system transmission leak closeout report. This was a series of repairs and maintenance we did back in February, March, and April earlier this year. And it took a while to get all the all the costs in and quantified, and well, we've had some other things going on as well. So anyway, this is the report just summarizing that project. So the summary of the leak discovery. So we've been tracking a leak for most of 2020. It was a relatively small leak, about 10 liters a minute. And we had seen a significant increase in our January test, up to about 75 liters a minute. And for context, the leak in 2019 that caused the big, to go to stage 4 and the big repair was about 700 liters a minute. So about 10 times the size of this one, but still significant, considering it's treated water going out into the river. So we made a decision to repair before the summer demand, as well as the water treatment plant commissioning. As Charlie mentioned, the pump stations that we're able to deactivate, I guess, during the commissioning and during the running of the water treatment plant are due to the fact that we have a slightly higher pressure coming into the system. So that enables us to get rid of those pumps, but it also but it was important to try and fix these leaks before this happened. It was a very tight timeline, but we were able to get a hold of most of the team members from the 2019 repair, and they were ready to go on our call. So we made the call to repair it. We were able to reuse a bunch of the safe work procedures and work safe submittals that took a lot of the time in 2019. There was some new work safe personnel in place, so they came to site and we had a meeting, and they were very satisfied with our procedures and plans. So we were ready to move forward. We broke the Puntledge River crossing project into 3 phases. I figured we had about 7 weeks to do the repairs, 3 weeks in prep, and 4 weeks to execute. One of the pieces of infrastructure that we didn't install in 2019 was the hatch for the divers to go in. We were contemplating putting it in then, but it just didn't make sense at the time due to the timing, and we realized that this was the best way for the divers to enter. The infrastructure that was installed in 2019 was very useful in assisting with our lockout procedures and getting that very important double block and bleed when you have divers entering the pipe. So the week of the 22nd was when this hatch got installed. And basically, it involved a full shutdown and drain, full lockout, tagout, cutting out a section of pipe and welding in a hatch. The coating and curing took a long time. It took the majority of the project on this first phase, just due to the fact that the materials had to be cured at a certain temperature because this is potable water coating, so it's very important that it's cured properly. Here's a photo of the hatch. as it's being installed, and then of the hatch once it's been backfilled and ready to have the blind flange put back on. Phase 2 was the week of March 1st to 5th. So we had a week to basically shut the system down again, insert SmartBall, and SmartBall is the acoustic device that helped us pinpoint the leak. You can see in the top left photo there, it was located about 23 meters upstream, so more in the center of the river from where the last leak was, and it was, you can see the acoustic kind of signature of the leak below, and then on the right we'd sent in an ROV, which is a remote operated vehicle, and we took some photos so that we could help the divers kind of see what they were looking for before they head in the pipe. Otherwise, it's kind of like, setting in, you're looking for a needle in a haystack just when you go into the pipe and you're looking around for a little pinhole. So with the acoustic and the visuals, we were able to pinpoint the leak for the divers. As the divers went in the week of March 15th, this is just some of the photos of the equipment. The equipment that monitors the diver's safety, monitors their air supply, monitors their tool air. They use air tools in there as well, and the CCTV, of course, so we can see what the diver's seeing. The diver heading in, I think Christiane thought this looked like just a guy getting in a little kiddie pool. So it was, they were really happy with the hatch. Actually, said this was one of the best pipe entries they've had. So if fingers crossed, but if we need this again, this part will be reusable, and which will substantially bring down the cost of the next project. And then there's a photo of just of the screen that we're looking at with the diver. So as he's up in the pipe working and looking for leaks, we can be looking and seeing what he's seeing. This photo is just of the kind of the safety crew. There's a diver ready to go in if need be to assist. The cord that is going in is being chlorinated by the operators just before it goes in with a sodium hypochlorite, as well as that has a CTV line, as well as air for the divers to breathe, as well as air for his tools, and there's a retrieval rope if needed. And putting the hatch back on, and the successful pressure test at the end of the day. This job was completed on time and within the week that we'd allowed, and it went really well, chlorinated and disinfected, and put it back into service by the end of the week. So while SmartBall was going down the pipe, it identified a second leak. This leak was on the concrete cylinder pipe, the pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipe, and more down near the Solom River crossing. We had to order parts and pieces, and we were coming at this one blind because it's a very unique pipe to work with. It's a pipe that you don't have to work with very often, thankfully, but it does take some specialty repair pieces. So we compiled parts and pieces for a variety of repairs. We've thought about the three kind of main repairs that this could be, and basically it's if it's a joint leak or a main barrel leak, or you're going to repair one or two sections. So we had parts and pieces compiled to repair all those, and we ended up digging up the pipe and thought we found water. We thought we found the leak right away. And turns out it was drainage coming down from the field that you saw in that previous photo. There's a field kind of uphill a bit. So it was not coming from the pipe at this location. So we exposed almost 2 sections of pipe. We dug up a few other reference points at the corner. You can see in this photo, we dug a bunch of test holes to look underneath. And at this point, we could not find a leak, couldn't determine it was there. The company that owns the acoustic device, they were on the phone with their analysts, and they were trying to figure it out, and apparently it was right here, but we just couldn't see it. So it wasn't worth cutting into the pipe until we could see a leak. So what we did was regrouted that joint, set up a monitoring well. So basically a piece of a gravel field with PVC pipe coming up to the surface that we can monitor for both water flow as well as residual if we do, because a chlorine residual will be detectable in this if this is a leak. And got a really good condition assessment of the pipe, decided to backfill and move on. So the costs associated with the repairs, you remember in the early 2021, we came to the Water Committee to ask for a budget amendment up to $250,000 to do the Puntledge River repair. This due to the relatively low cost of the second inspection for the concrete cylinder pipe, we were able to keep both costs under the $250,000. So we avoiding a second amendment to the budget. And you can see in the first one the $60,000 mark from the mechanical company that was largely to install that hatch and coat that hatch. So if and when we need to go in and look at this pipe again, that part of the project will not be won't be necessary. So next steps, we plan to ongoing pressure and flow monitoring through the ways we have been doing the river crossing, as well as the high press con section with the monitoring well, as well as using our SCADA to look for flow. We're going to maintain our repair kit, but also update the procedures from what we learned through the process of digging up the high press con pipe. And we're undertaking a condition assessment, and this is to develop a plan moving forward, recommendations moving forward for either maintaining or replacing both sections of pipe. So we're looking at the high press con pipe that runs the length of the fields between the two rivers primarily, and as well as the steel pipe that goes underneath the Puntledge River. And if there's any questions or concerns, I'd be glad to try and answer them.
Great, thank you very much, Mike. Any questions or discussion? Okay, we have Director Grieve.
Thanks, Madam Chair. And through the CAO to Mike, I noticed that you're pressure testing it at 150 PSI. What is the actual operational pressure in that pipe when it's just idling in a regular day?
That actually is the operational pressure of the pipe. We're pressure testing it with the water in the pipe. Yeah, it's quite a high pressure pipe, but we need that pressure to get it through our distribution system, as well as to get it up the hill to the reservoirs at the top of East Courtney.
And just one more, if I could.
Yep.
You know, given the how very integral it is to the entire system, at what point would it be advantageous to replace the whole thing rather than just patching it up? Like, what is the lifespan estimated for a pipe of that sort?
Yeah, that's a good question. And that's one thing we're hoping this condition assessment will tell us. It'll tell us if it makes sense to keep doing the repairs or to replace the section or both of the sections. Pipe has different lengths of time, whether it's steel pipe or PVC or the high press con pipe. Usually a high press con pipe you'd think would be good for approximately 60 years. Steel and PVC could be up to 80 years for these transmission mains. And this pipe was installed in 1982.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I just had a question about, would you mind going back to the slide just with the budget amounts? I was curious about the smart ball device and I know you had a price there for that somewhere. There it is, smart ball, so 40,000. So is that what does that go towards with the smart ball, and is that something that is also you know, something that we have for future, or is that an ongoing cost every time?
Yeah, no, this would be a cost moving forward that we would budget for in this type of repair. It's to go into that pipe blind. Now I know we didn't, you know, the track record has been very good with smart ball. Obviously the high press con part of it was a disappointment. We couldn't find it, although they say it is still, you know, they do feel that was a leak that was recorded at the time. But underneath in the steel section of pipe, it's been really I don't know how we would have found those leaks without it. And those were, you know, so that $40,000 is a large part of that is, you know, the mobbing and demobbing of the crew to run the acoustic device. The ball itself is just about the size of a softball and it rolls down the pipe, but it's all the tracking modules that need to be installed and in order to track it to its location as well as the sound. And then really what takes the most time in the smart ball analysis, I guess, is just that, is the analysis afterwards. So they take it back and there's a team of analysts that are looking for kind of anomaly sounds as well as and what is a leak and what isn't a leak. So it is quite a process, but you know, if we had the diver in there, we had him right at the spot 23 meters upstream of the last repair. He was looking around. It took about 20 minutes for him and us to find that hole. And if we'd been just gone in blind, you'd never find it.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a cost that we'll be incurring every time we do this.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking that some of that would definitely be the analysis part, but I wondered if there were maintenance costs or, you know, to the actual technology as well that comes into play. Okay, thank you. Oh, we have Director Hamir. Thank you.
Thanks,
Go
Chair.
ahead.
Sorry, your comment just tweaked an idea for me. I'm wondering, this smart ball technology that we were just talking about, is that something that the RD should be purchasing rather than paying for on an annual basis? What is one of those costs?
We have no idea. This would be a proprietary thing that they've developed, and you know, a lot of the money that, you know, has gone into the R&D of it, and it's also the analysts. I think I personally, I think it's a good idea to buy tools that can help us do leak detection, but I think this is a tool that with the level of analysis needed, you have to have specialists doing it, and then it just becomes cost prohibitive to have it yourself.
Okay, thanks for that.
Great, thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none. Anyone opposed to receipt? Seeing none, that's carried. And I believe we have no new business, no media. So I think the last thing is adjournment. Great, thank you. And second? Sorry, I didn't catch. Thank you. Okay, thanks all.